Another way to solve systems is to graph the systems. Now there's a couple things that you need to watch out for on this. The first thing is that you need to get both of your equations to look like y equals mx plus b so that you can easily graph them. The second thing is that when you plot your y-intercept, your b value, you have to plot that on the y-axis. I still see people screwing this up and putting their y-intercept on the x-axis and starting the graph from there, and that is very much incorrect. The other thing that you need to be careful about is that you aren't just haphazardly sketching a line. You all, because of Wildcat Hour, are supposed to have a lanyard with your ID on it. That is about the perfect size to lay over a graph on your paper and draw a nice, beautiful straight line. So if you have your ID on you, which you all should, you can draw a beautiful straight line and make this as accurate as possible. So this first equation, what do we need to do to get this ready to graph? Subtract x. So y equals negative x plus 4. The 4 is where we are going to begin on the y-axis. You always start on the vertical axis. Our slope is negative 1. You only use the negative once. So by moving down, you have used the negative, then you move right. If you just get in the habit of always move right, so up or down, and then right. And then draw in a nice straight line. Our next equation, what do we need to do? So negative y equals negative x plus 2. Multiply everything by negative 1 or divide everything by negative 1, we get y equals positive x minus 2. We're going to start at negative 2 on the y-axis, and our slope is 1, up 1, right 1. And this one nicely intersects at a perfect point. So even if we weren't perfect on our straight edge, we should still find it. What is the solution to this system? 3, 1. If you'd solved this using elimination or substitution, you should still get the solution x equals 3, y equals 1. And we are also going to talk about consistent versus inconsistent. If there is a solution, this is called a consistent system. Consistent systems have solutions. Inconsistent systems do not have solutions. On the next example, the first one's pretty easy to get ready to solve or to get ready to graph. Y equals negative x plus 3. How about this second one? We would have to subtract 4x on both sides, then divide by 4. Hopefully this works out nicely. So this one ends up being negative 1x plus 1/2. How do you graph things when the axis or when the y-intercept is a fraction? You can change your scale, and you can change your scale only on the y-axis if you want to, or on both axes. But honestly, it's easier. Go halfway up between 0 and 1, and then your slope is negative 1. So make sure you go down a full, to halfway between 0 and negative 1, and then over. You're just being careful when you're graphing to keep that fraction up while you're doing that. So this one, there we go. Thank you. The pink one was easier. We started at 3. had a slope of -1. What do you notice about these two? They are parallel. They both have a slope of -1. And that means they are never going to meet. So there are no solutions. And this would be known as an inconsistent system. So on your assignment today, there's 3 problems that you need to graph. And then there's like 4 problems that look like example 3. How many solutions does the system have? And then state whether it's consistent or inconsistent. So you may just want to jot in your notes that consistent means that there are solutions. Inconsistent means that there's no solutions. So example A, there's no solutions and it's inconsistent. B, there is 1 solution, which makes it consistent. What about C? Infinitely many solutions. That's 2 lines right on top of each other, and that would be consistent. I do have a graph page so that you don't have to sketch these graphs just on notebook paper. 6, 8, and 10, you need to graph. 11 through 14, just decide how many solutions and is it consistent or inconsistent. Number 40, you will need to graph. And then because the Chiefs just won the Super Bowl and I feel like we all need a break, we are going to skip 42 and 44. If I happen to reuse this video in future years and the Chiefs didn't just win the Super Bowl, then you have to do 42 and 44. Sorry, just deal with it. But because this year we won the Super Bowl, bye-bye to those 2 problems.